magic key, a little bit on the blues magic key. Here's Dory's Magic, a little book I read as a child. I kind of fell in love with the witch, Dory. So the blues magic key, we could cover a little bit on this, is one whole step below the root key of the blues. So here's the root key of the blues. We're going to play it usually as a 7th chord. That's add 1 flat. So now it makes it a mixolydian 7th. If we add 2 flats, it makes it into an aeolian 6th. And that major chord that it's the 6th of, okay, becomes the blues Pent key. All right. Now also we have 2 flats in the blues magic key, because in the blues Pent key we don't play the A flat. So we've got 2 different keys, blues magic key and blues Pent key. The blues Pent key is safe in the key of C. It's a minor 3rd above the blues root key. So we got the... Now I wanted to show you how if you add one flat here, you've got a mixolydian. But we're going to play this as root, because all 3 of the 1, 4, 5s in our blues are going to be 7th chord. So it's like... Okay, but still that makes it a mixolydian. So what happens is, a lot of times blues players will take that 7th chord and just drop it down and then really make it the 5th. So they're going to take the dominant, a root chord played dominant, and drop it down to the 4th. Therefore they've made it into a real dominant, because in the modal system the modes are, the 5th is dominant. So it'd be like, instead of doing some kind of a blues like this, it'd be like... We'd go like this. Yeah, they do a little switch like that. So let's get back to what we were doing here before. And by the way, let's not get into dot scales, okay? What I wanted to show you here, aside from the cute little witch, is in the root key, the C is the blues note here. But in the blues master key, A is the blues note. But they're the same note. And in the blues Pent key, D is the blues note, because it's in between 2, 3. So in the blues Pent key, just look at what I'm showing you here with a drawing tool. Blues Pent key, the blues note's going to be 2, 3. Why? Because say we're doing a C blues here. Okay, and that C, we're going to go minor on it, but now the only thing we don't have is the blues note, which is in between the 4th and the 5th. So in between the 4th and the 5th, we have the C string shape designator. C is 3, 4, 5, okay, in string shapes. All right. Of course, that corresponds to 5, 6 in the blues magic key, but in the blues Pent key, it's 2, 3, 4. So right there, you can see the blues Pent key is a 4th, the 4th of the blues magic key. Indeed, it is. Not. Let's hope we're not just wasting our time here. If we are, it's never a waste of time with guitar. what I've written here is the blues master key is a whole step down from the root key of the blues. Okay? Therefore, it is one cage shape up. Therefore, and also, and usually. I wouldn't make a cold, hard connection between one shape up and a whole step, because it may not match up exactly like that. But the bottom line is it is. Here's root key of the blues. Here's the blues magic key. Note for note, it is a whole step down. Okay, so let's look at that. I think today we're focusing a little more on the blues magic key, but we're not going to do tripentatonic on the blues magic key. We're just going to deal with the blues magic key and the fact that because it's a whole step down, the blues note is now going to be one number higher, or between the 5th and the 6th of that B flat. So we got, and then we see it's, but it's the same blues note, G flat. So G flat is the flatted 6th of B flat, it's the flatted 5th of C. The reason why we're in the E box in the first place is because we're going to look at root 2-3 right here. The E chord, it's an E-shaped C, so it's root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5. The counting method never fails. If you learn anything in this lesson, remember, the counting method never fails. Let's demonstrate that. Okay? So let's say we're looking at this E box here, but this is a sunken. The 7 is sunken. If I started that way up here, an octave above, the 7 isn't sunken anymore because we have all this. We're way up here, we're going to go to here, but the fret nut is down here, meaning the 7th fret is sunken. Okay, so if we go an octave up, the 7th fret isn't sunken. So we can play a nice S4E. Okay, it's not sunken there. Well, let's just look at, so that's just a little background on why it says sunken. So for the most part, the E box we usually play from the root here. We got the E chord. Alright. Where were we? So we got E, A, and C. We got the C half shape there. But we want to look at the blues magic key. It's going to be a Dorian. So let's demonstrate. The counting method never fails. Remember, root is always 1 or 8 in octave, but we go back, we just call it root, so we don't have to decide whether we're going to say 8 or 1. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root. Now, if we want to, now remember, root is the 2nd of the blues magic key, right? Because if you look at it on piano, C, the same C, is the 2nd of B flat, so we're going to follow a B flat scale going up. Okay, sounds like peanuts or something.